Hello, what is up to my 39 subscribers and future 1 million? How are y'all doing today? Today I'm going to be telling you how to fix a hole in a wall, specifically drywall. I'm going to tell you the things that you need and the process on how to do it, all in order to have a fixed wall, and hopefully your parents will forgive you. Before we get started, let me just show you what we are dealing with today. This is the hole in the wall. Luckily it is not too big, but it is not too small, but it is just enough to resemble a fist. And before y'all keep asking any more questions, yes, I am guilty. I'm the one who punched the wall. It was during the summer and my lawnmower broke down while I was cutting grass, and I was just so mad that I just went inside and just punched the wall. Yeah, I am guilty. That's why I'm making this video, to help fix my own wall and to hopefully educate y'all on how to fix your own wall. Before we go shopping, I'm a little late for school, but don't worry, tomorrow we will begin our shopping. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to never miss any of my uploads, even though I don't even upload. Good morning, y'all. Finally Saturday. Hair's a little messed up. It doesn't matter. So, materials. There are 10 things that you will need, starting with fiberglass mesh drywall joint tape, sheetrock all prepared drywall premix, drywall joint knife, semi-gloss paint, a piece of drywall, screws, a piece of wood,
impact driver,
sanding sponge, and a knife. Other items like a pencil, tape measure, and a brush will also be useful. Reminder, I did not need to use the sponge for the sheetrock once it dried up because the edges of my wall did not end up like these ones, but if yours does, please use it. You can find all these items at your local hardware store, for example, Home Depot or Lowe's. So now that we know what we need, let's go shopping. Now that you have drove all the way to your local hardware store, or your parents brought you because you don't have a license yet, your next step is to get out the car, enter the store, and get the materials. Okay, so once you get out the car, you want to make your way to the store and enter the store, obviously, and then you're going to want to make a left turn here and walk all the way down until you find the aisle section called Power Tools. Now you enter the aisle and there's a variety of power tools, but I use these, and here are the prices. Next, you want to make your way on the other side of the aisle and you will find your knives. You can pick whichever one you like, and then you want to get out the aisle, make a right turn here, and you will find your wood. You will only use one little small piece of wood. Then you want to make your way all the way to the drywall section. Here's where you're going to find a lot of materials like your screws that you will be needing, and your drywall joint knives here, and on this wall there's a bunch of them, so you can pick whichever one you want. And then you want to find your sheetrock all-purpose, your little bucket of it, and then above it is the sanding sponge you'll be needing, as well as the tape on the right. Then you want to turn around and you can find your sheet of drywall. Don't worry, there's smaller portions over here so you can get your little piece. I also recommend getting one of these for your sheetrock all-purpose, just so you don't make a mess. Then you want to make a right turn out the aisle and walk down all the way until you find the aisle section called paint. Then you want to make a right turn here, a left turn here, a right turn here, and then another left turn past any obstacle, and you will be at the paint section on your left. But reminder, I'm using semi-gloss paint, but you can use whatever type of paint depending on what you are looking for. Back from the store, I only needed to grab a few items. That was the piece of drywall and the sheetrock all-purpose. But anyways, now that you have grabbed all your items, all the ones that you needed, you return home. Now that I'm home, it's time to gather all the materials we need so we can begin the fun part, fixing the hole. So let's begin. I gathered all the material: the joint knives, the piece of drywall, the all-purpose sheetrock, the tape, the impact drill, 2 pieces of wood, the sanding sponge, screws, and a knife. You might notice that we are missing the semi-gloss paint, but that comes in once the sheetrock is all dried up. The first items that you will get is the joint knife and a pencil. Once you get those items, you would trace around with the joint knife and the pencil a square around the damage area, and it will look something like this. Once you trace the square, you're going to cut out all the drywall out of it, so it will look something like this. Then you will need a piece of wood, a drill, and 1 screw. Then you would drill the screw in the middle of the wood so it can look something like this. Then you're going to place the wood inside the square and make sure that the nail is sticking out just like that. Then you get 2 more screws and drill 1 above and 1 below. In the meanwhile, you're going to be pulling the middle screw towards you. Once you're done, you're going to remove the middle screw. Then you're going to get a piece of drywall, and with the pencil you're going to measure the drywall to correspond with the measurements of the square. I used a tape measure as well to get the rest of the sides. Once you get the measurements, you're going to now measure out the part you need to cut out. I used a joint knife to trace out what I needed to cut out, but you can use whatever, up to you. Then what you're going to do is you're going to cut out the portion. Once you have your piece, you're just going to place the piece in the square, and if it doesn't fit, you can just trim it out and make sure it fits perfectly. Then you're going to get the mesh tape, and you're going to now cut out strips of tape and cover up the whole area from top to bottom. I used 3 mesh tapes, but you can use however many you want. That depends on how big the damage is. Then you're going to get your bucket of sheetrock and scoop out portions of sheetrock with your joint knives and spread it across the damaged area, covering the tape and making sure that it is all covered up just like that. Then you're going to wait for it to dry off. Usually this takes about a couple hours to just the next day. I waited for the next day, but that also depends on the temperature. Once all dried up, you're going to get your sheetrock, a brush, and a joint knife, and I recommend you using a small bucket and some water. And what we're going to do is mix it all up and make the sheetrock a little more liquid. This is going to be useful to create the texture on the wall. And what I mean by that is the texture you see here on my wall. With the liquid form of the sheetrock, is going to be easier to create the same texture. With the finished mixture, you are now going to sprinkle the sheetrock on the wall, I know there are products that are better at doing this, but if you don't have a product like that to help you distribute out, you can use your hands. That's just as fine. I know we didn't do a good job. We messed up a couple times, but this is the result. Lastly, you're going to get your brush and your paint, and you're just going to paint all over the sheetrock, covering every little spot. You'll do this once the sheetrock is dried. I waited around 30 minutes or more, but once you finish painting, you are all done. So, I've now shown you how to fix a hole in the wall, specifically drywall. I've shown you the materials you need and the process on how to do it. So the next time that you punch a drywall, either by anger or by accident, you know the quick and easy steps on how to fix it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and a comment of your reaction. And if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll consider uploading more. So, adios.